Well, howdy there, Internet people, it's Belle again. So today, we're going to talk about big updates on the chat and Trump's signals. Well, that didn't take long at all. Between recording the last video where I mentioned Trump's fleeting favor and the time it went out, Trump appears to be publicly pushing all blame onto National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. There are also developments ranging from the Republican chair of the Senate Armed Services Committee calling for an expedited Inspector General investigation, and Congressman Jerry Nadler calling for prosecutions. Okay, so starting off, Trump made some public statements that might indicate Mike Waltz is heading for the door, even though Trump had been standing by him initially. Honestly, Trump's statements might indicate that he doesn't understand exactly what the issue is. Talking about who was to blame, Trump said, quote, "I would imagine it had nothing to do with anyone else. It was Mike. I guess, I don't know. I always thought it was Mike." Then, when the subject turned to his Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, he said, quote, "How do you bring Hegseth into it? He had nothing to do. Look, it's all a witch hunt." If you haven't been keeping up, it was the Secretary of Defense's messages in the chat that included some of the most eyebrow-raising information. Trump, not being aware of this, seems to indicate that he believes the issue is that somebody added a journalist to the chat. If a journalist was added to a chat that was discussing their polling targets instead of military targets, nobody would care. The issue isn't that somebody added a journalist to a Signal chat. The biggest issue is what was being discussed outside of secure channels. To add to Trump's troubles, Mississippi Senator Roger Wicker, who is the Republican who chairs the powerful Armed Services Committee, is calling for an investigation. The current course of action, as we understand it, is that both the chair and the ranking Democrat on the committee, Jack Reed of Rhode Island, are signing onto a letter that will request a number of things. First, a classified briefing on what occurred, an investigation conducted by DOD's Inspector General Office, and details on the administration's use of Signal. Wicker told reporters that the information disclosed was, quote, "of such a sensitive nature that based on my knowledge, I would have wanted it classified." Those familiar with classified information tend to agree with Senator Wicker's summary. Congressman Nadler took things a bit further, saying, quote, "The latest tranche of messages revealed today make it clear that the Trump administration has been lying and continues to lie about the confidential war plans shared by Secretary Hegseth in an unsecure Signal chat. The latest text messages confirm that in yesterday's Senate Intelligence Committee hearing, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard and CIA Director John Radcliffe lied under oath in their testimony. Perjury is a crime, and they should be prosecuted." While most people I know who have held security clearances understand Nadler's reaction, most also say an investigation to determine the scope of any potential lapse needs to occur first. Why? Well, that takes us back to the negative fact concept. Things absent from the record that you expect to be there. When you look at the chat logs, nobody is surprised by the use of a Signal group chat to discuss this information. Nobody asks why the conversation isn't taking place through different methods. Maybe the lack of questioning is because nobody wants to question high-ranking officials. Or maybe nobody is surprised because the routine isn't surprising. I'm sure there will be more developments soon. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.